My name is Joe Corbell with Noda 3D. I'm the applications engineer. I'll be going over today the split function in 3D Sprint. So to get started with that, we're just going to take a general geometry that we can create right in Sprint itself. Let's say we pull in a part that's a little bit too large for the build plate. Call it 12 by 10 by 5. So that'll generate this large cube that we can see is clearly outside of our build platform, but that's what we want. So the software will automatically kick it off to the side just because it can't print a part that big. So like I said, we're going to go into the split function that's at the top right here in the toolbar. Go ahead and click on that. And it gives us the option to cut on a plane or cut on a line. Obviously, we're not too tall for the build platform, but we are too wide. So we'll take the Y and Z split. We don't really need a clearance for these parts. The clearance would be if we had some sort of bonding agent where it would need to fill in a gap. So since we're not going to be using that, or the super glue that we would use is thin enough, we're going to go ahead and keep the 0-inch tolerance clearance for that. So we'll click next. You can see that there's actually connector pins for this that are automatically generated. You can choose to turn those off, but for the sake of demonstration, we'll keep them on. It'll help kind of line everything up as if we were actually making this part. So we can dictate whether or not it's going to be a box connector or a cylinder connector. We can dictate whether or not it's going to be a sphere, so rounded off, or a chamfer. And the smaller these pins get, the chamfer will go away, but the sphere function will still work. So we can say, all right, we want to do 250 thousandths by 250 thousandths. That will give us our connectors there. We can choose to do the male only for the rounded off, kind of give the female connectors a kind of a bottom out. Can choose the tolerance. Again, this will only be if you're using a bonding agent that will require more space than you would actually need in the part itself. So we'll leave that at 5 thousandths as a good guess. That'll give us just enough wiggle room to line everything up correctly as we need to mate it. Instead of letting the software kind of dictate where all of the connectors will be, we can do a grid pattern. We can say we want 8 rows of 4. We can space these out differently. Can kind of turn the grid and everything like that. And you can line this up any which way you would want. You can do female to female connectors in case you had dowel pins or something that you wanted to connect in. So you don't need to use the connectors that come with the software. It's just automatically generated, so they make it nice and easy. So we'll go ahead and turn that. We'll say done. And it gave us our 2 halves. So what we want to do in this case is save off 1 half because we're only going to be printing one at a time. So we'll go File, Export. And we're exporting the box split number 2. You can export as STL, CTL, OBJ, WRL, PLY, and AMF files. STL is going to be the easiest to work with, so I'll just export that out. Save that. Click out of that. And then we can go ahead and delete this out. So from here, we'll just use our auto place feature, let the software kind of decide how to turn this so it'll fit on the build platform. And there we have it. So we would add this to our printer queue, and then we would load in the other part. So we'll delete this one out as if we added it to the queue. File, Import, and we'll take our box 6 split 2. We have the same connector pins, auto place again. And we would print this as well. So once this is finished, you would simply mate the parts together, super glue, or use a UV curing adhesive. Really any number of ways you want to bond it. It's pretty simple to do. That covers the split function. If there's any other questions or concerns, you can always go to the 3D Sprint help. You can type in split, and it'll help kind of walk you through everything on this page.